To search the entire building because it is still too hot and too dangerous. The fire broke out around 11:30 p.m. local time last night, and fire officials in Oakland just wrapped up a press conference with the latest details. Let's show you that now. Here's Sergeant Ray Kelly of the Alameda County Sheriff's Department.
The recovery and identification process inside the building. The building is very tricky to work. We have water that's still coming down on top of our people. There's beams. There's all sorts of wreckage and debris that we have to maneuver through. So we'll be working with fire to help us do that. This is not an easy task by any means, and we're asking people, if you have no business at the Family Assistance Center, please do not go there. We're asking the media to also respect the privacy of those families for now. Like Officer Watson said, we'll be doing the briefings here. The City of Oakland, in conjunction with the Sheriff's Office, will be releasing a statement. As we move forward, you will be hearing from city officials in regards to this. So at this point, we're in a recovery and identification process. And as we move forward, we'll be able to answer those questions. But there's a lot of unanswered questions right now. But please just be patient with us. The most important thing is assisting these families and keeping our first responders inside the building safe.
So are the numbers still the same? Where is it still 9 victims?
We have 9 confirmed victims. We believe there are more victims, but we're not going to get into the numbers game at this point. We do have numerous reports of missing persons, unaccounted for persons by family members. Some of these folks are not from within the United States. They're visitors. A lot of the people that are victims here are young people. And when I say young people, people in their 20s to 30s. And so they have families outside the area that we're talking to and dealing with. And so we're doing and orchestrating and coordinating all that through our Family Assistance Center.
How deep have people been able to make it within the building? How deep have sheriff's workers and firefighters been able to make it inside there?
I mean, it's just a task to get through the front door with all the debris and wreckage that's there. So we're slowly making our way in, and we have to go systematically because any misstep on the part of our people could mean that they get injured or fall through a floor or have something fall on top of them. So those were visual identifications by fire and by first responders that were in the scene. They were able to identify 9 deceased people.
Can you walk us through the process now from here on out, now that you're in the building? And also, what agencies all are involved in the task force that you're working with?
So there will be an arson investigation. There will be an arson task force that will look into this. That will be a group of specialists and individuals who are from our local, state, and federal agencies. I would imagine every resource available to the City of Oakland will be available to them. I'm talking high-level crime lab assistance and crime scene reconstruction. So that will all take place in the coming days. We will be at this crime scene for days to come as we move forward, trying to make out and make sense of what happened here.
So is arson something that's suspected, or is that routine?
No.
And you also reference the crime scenes.
There's no reason yet to suspect arson. However, you have to work these investigations at the worst case scenario and then downgrade from there. So you bring in all your experts, all your arson experts, and then you narrow it down to, was this an electrical issue? Was this some type of other, maybe pyrotechnic or something that lit a fire? Or was there fires burning within there? Something as simple as a cigarette could cause a fire that could lead to something like this. So those are all things that need to be worked out by the experts.
Talking about the debris that you mentioned.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the debris that you were mentioning in the front, and the difficulty of entry you guys have had, could that have contributed to the high death rate this year?
We're not experts in that, but the investigation will hopefully reveal those details. But anytime you have a collapse of a structure, you have fire, you have smoke, that can be deadly to people inside of a building. We know that when there's smoke and a lot of fire and people they lose direction inside of the location, and that leads to events like this. So we're not going to sit here and speculate on how each victim may have died, but this is just a tragedy, and there's no easy answers right now.
So,
We know that there was
first
a
time
lot
we
of
have access to the second floor.
Ollie, go ahead.
So, just think a little bit about the building's history. City records showed that prior habitability complaints and that there's been prior citations against the landlord for illegal habitation and structures outside the property.
Ollie, I'll go ahead and answer that question. Right now, the Oakland Police Department is focused on exactly your questions. There are a lot of questions that are being asked and a lot of answers we are looking to find. What is the history of the building? The occupancy of the building? If there are any codes or violations? All of those things we are looking into, and our city leaders will be talking about that later. Currently, we're not going to find all those answers out right now. We're very much focused on identifying those who are still missing, locating those who have suffered loss inside, who are deceased. Currently, we are looking at bringing closure to the families, and all of those questions about permits, about calls to the location, all of those we've already started the investigation and we're looking into it. But right now, we're going to be very focused on the recovery, working all of our agencies together, working as a city team, a city approach to find answers. And they may not come today or within the next couple hours, but we'll certainly find answers.
Have you been able to talk to any party goers? Have they described what the situation is like and how some of them escaped?
What we can share with you is we have talked to folks who have come out, individuals who were at this location and either left prior to the fire or were able to get out. And that is a joint investigation that all of us will be looking into, from the Oakland Fire Department to the Alameda County Sheriff's Office to the Oakland Police Department, ATF. We'll all be working together for that information. We won't go into any details about what they said because this is an investigation.
Just a little detail.
And at this time, I want to share with you, it is not deemed a crime scene. I want to make that perfectly clear. It is not deemed a crime scene. Sergeant Kelly stated it earlier. We are all working with our expert teams in case this investigation takes a different turn. If it takes a different turn where it deems to be a crime scene, then we already have our personnel here working side by side with investigators as we move through this process. What I would like to do, I know you have a lot of questions, and we understand that, and we want to find answers for you. We'll share with you that we are going to have a city press conference, including the mayor, the city administrator, the fire chief, other leaders of the city. We'll make that announcement, but right now we'd like to return to the scene to see if there's any additional information that we could share with you. So this will conclude this portion of our update.
I just want to add. I want to add one thing. Our local hospitals have been getting a lot of phone calls, and it's really bombarding their system. We did not have a lot of victims go to the hospital. It appears that people either made it out or they didn't make it out. There's not a lot of other injuries that have been reported to us at this time. So I would direct all those calls not to the hospitals, but to the family assistance number that we've put out. That's 510-382-3000. So if you could 510-382-3000, we have personnel answering those calls, and we would ask that you not tie up the phone lines at the hospitals in case we need them for other events going on.
Sergeant Ray Kelly of the Alameda County Sheriff's Department there. Let's bring in our Dan Simon, who's on the scene in Oakland. And Dan, I know you've been speaking to a number of witnesses, people that saw this taking place. What did they see? What did they hear?
Well, this was a horrific situation. There was a party going on, and the flames broke out about 11:30 at night. And the way that building is configured, it sounds like folks had a very difficult time getting out of the building. We know there are reports that some people jumped out of a second-floor window. At this point, crews don't know what caused this fire. Right now, they're basically in the assessing mode and trying to recover the bodies. You can see this tent up behind me and these sidewalls. That's to prevent the bodies from public view. And so crews obviously have a very grim task ahead, Poppy.
And Dan, we'll take a look at what you're referring to now as we continue to talk, because we're learning that according to property records on this building in Oakland, that the Planning and Buildings Department website shows that there were several what are violations, basically illegal interior building structure issues as recently as last month. Is that material in this? Do we know at this point in time if that is significant in this place?
We really don't know, Poppy. We know that this warehouse was an artist collective. It had studios, but apparently some people live there as well, which isn't surprising given the high rent that you see in the Bay Area. Sometimes people use buildings for which they weren't intended, but that can result in a code violation. Whether or not that had an impact in terms of what happened here tonight, last night rather, we don't know. We can tell you that according to fire crews, the building was very cluttered inside, and they had a difficult time gaining entry, at least just right inside the building, even a few feet. Had all types of supplies and mannequins and things that these artists worked on. And so in terms of the overall investigation with respect to these code violations, that's something they're going to have to look at closely.
Dan Simon reporting for us live in Oakland. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Dan, thank you.